Hi there guys and girls, I wanted to do a video about the recent Mortal Kombat movie and a lot of the Easter eggs that you guys may not have noticed that are in the background. Some Easter eggs are really obvious in the movie. Things like, you know, characters doing special moves. I'll put them in the video, but you guys might, you know, obviously, oh, I knew that one, you know. But it's for people who might not know too, so. But a lot of the Easter eggs in this video too will be very low-key. Some I even missed. One in particular that TotalMK pointed out was a reference to MKX. And yeah, so it's very easy to miss Easter eggs. I actually missed another one too from Outwell told me about it. Yeah, so we'll get to those later. But firstly, if you're wondering what the hell an Easter egg is, it's like a hidden thing in the background, or a sort of an indirect or direct reference to source material. You know, they sprinkle these through sometimes movies and video games, and just a little bit of fun, you know, to make you go, oh, that's why that's there, you know, that's a reference to that, you know, without going into specifics. But I have here a list of all the Easter eggs. It's about 64, and I'm sure I missed some in the Mortal Kombat movie, and I went through it like a few times. I threw this movie like pretty much almost frame by frame, and tried to find all the Easter eggs I could, really keeping my eyes on the background. And I noticed a lot in the background, and I'm sure a lot of you guys missed some of these, because if you just watch the movie normal without stopping and pausing and going through it, things just appear and disappear just very quickly, and some things are really hard to read. Like, you won't even have the chance to even maybe focus on that bit of text, but when you pause it, you can sort of make all this stuff out. So let's get started, shall we? But I know what you guys are thinking, you know, oh, you know, you just got 22,000 subscribers on YouTube, you know, why should we watch your video about this? You failure. Failure? Fucking failure? Let me educate you motherfuckers. I'm TotalMK. I'm won in over 35 countries for shit that I've said on YouTube. Now sit down, shut up, and watch my fucking video. So yeah, that was just a little bit of fun, but a little bit of parody there from the Mortal Kombat movie. But now we're going to talk about the Easter eggs from the movie. So the first one is I could say the timestamps, but I don't think I will. I think I put them there for me for the editing process, so I can just go back and get a screenshot or something later. I don't think I'll tell you guys that. I don't think you guys need to know really the timestamps. But the first Easter egg is Scorpion's gardening tool. This one's very obvious. She's gardening at the start with what becomes Scorpion's harpoon in the movie, and that's a reference to, obviously, Scorpion's harpoon. Second Easter egg, this one's quite good. I actually really appreciated this when I was first watching the movie. I'm like, it's really good that they did that, and it reminded me of Legacy. When they first did Mortal Kombat Legacy, they had Scorpion speaking Japanese, and then when they did the next season, he was speaking English, so that really bugged me. Scorpion. But in this, they kept everything 100%, which even the characters even got confused, because in the Mortal Kombat story, Sub-Zero has always been a Chinese ninja, and Scorpion's always been a Japanese ninja. And you think, okay, well, they can't really talk to each other because it's a different language unless they happen to know both languages. And the movie sort of does imply that Sub-Zero does know both languages, but Scorpion does not. So at the start, Bi-Han's speaking Chinese. He says, where's Hanzo or something? And then he asks again in Japanese. And then we see Hanzo speaking only Japanese, and then he even says, I may not be able to understand your words. So, yeah, Hanzo can't understand Sub-Zero, but Sub-Zero can seem to speak both languages, which was a really nice touch on those characters, because that's how they've always been. And when I say Sub-Zero, I guess you could say the first Sub-Zero, Bi-Han. Alright, third Easter egg. Hanzo's wife and son are killed with ice. And this seems to reference two things. A little bit of an Easter egg. The first one's Mortal Kombat Legacy. In Mortal Kombat Legacy, Scorpion's wife and son are killed with ice. And in the recent Mortal Kombat animated Scorpion's Revenge, which was a fantastic animated adventure movie. It was just really good. I was going to do a review on it, and I was trying to get assets for it. I couldn't find assets. I was sort of like delaying it, and then it just went on too long. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's really good. It's there. Anyway, yeah, it also happens in that. Where we see they get killed by being impaled by ice or frozen like that. It doesn't seem to really reference the games. That didn't happen in the games. So that's why I sort of count it as an Easter egg. Okay, fourth Easter egg. Now this is a good one. And by the way, this video has spoilers, obviously, so spoilers. Fourth Easter egg is the Citizen Cage poster. Now, you see the Citizen Cage poster at the end of the movie, and a nice lingering close-up teasing the next MK film. Where I'm going to Hollywood, and then they show the Johnny Cage poster, and then it's like, But what you may not have noticed is you can see the poster earlier in the movie for about a second, and you can see the whole poster too. It's just not a close-up. Yeah, and later on in the movie, there is another Citizen Cage ad on the fence of Sonya's compound. So it's almost implying that Sonya may end up with Johnny Cage, I reckon, because there's a Johnny Cage, Citizen Cage sign hanging on the compound. It just says Citizen Cage. It doesn't show the character. It says Citizen Cage though, so you can see the screenshots here. Next Easter egg, number 5, is in the background of the gym. There's a lot of posters. We have a Fight Night poster, which has on it, if we pause it and look, Fight Night poster actually has the words Brutality on it, Test Their Might, Tournament Edition, and the MK9 logo. So the MK9 Versus logo. So the Versus logo is the exact Versus logo from Mortal Kombat 9. Tournament Edition is a reference to Mortal Kombat Tournament Edition, that game that came out on Game Boy Advance. Test Their Might is obviously a reference to Test Your Might. And Brutality is obviously a reference to the finishing move, A Brutality. Right, the next Easter egg is an audio one. And it's spoken by Jax, and he says, Cole Young, the person who defeated Eddie Tobias. So Eddie Tobias is obviously Ed Boon, and John Tobias, the creators of Mortal Kombat. I mean, I'm sure you guys got that one right. I picked up on the Tobias name, but I didn't link Eddie to Ed, because I always call Ed Boon, not Eddie Boon. So, like, at first, it didn't click. Like, the Tobias name did, but not the Ed. Anyway, someone in the YouTube comments was like, no, it's Ed as well. I'm like, oh, yeah, of course. I had to, like, stop and think about that. Alright, next Easter egg. And I saw this one. I haven't seen anyone mention this one. When they're eating at Oliver's Burgers, on the background, on the wall, there's some graffiti that says Nexus. Nexus is a reference to the Nexus in Mortal Kombat Deception. It's an area that sort of is links Link's pathway to different worlds and different realms. So obviously in Mortal Kombat Deception, Shujinko would come into the Nexus, and then he would go come out of the Earth Realm portal, and then go into the Outworld portal, or to the Chaos Realm portal, or the Order Realm portal, or whatever. So the Nexus. Next sign, the Cetrion Cola sign. When they were making the movie, the Cetrion Cola and the Sindel's Lemon Lime and Bitters sign were front on of the Oliver's Burgers place. And I actually said I don't like Easter eggs when they're too obvious and they sort of distract you from the movie. A lot of these Easter eggs aren't very obvious, or they're just mixed in with the dialogue, which is good. You don't want to have an Easter egg in there that's intrusive. When the movie actually came out, I was surprised. I actually took them out. They changed the Oliver's Burgers graphic logo as well. But there's a front-on shot of the sign like that, and then there's like two sides to the cafe. The Cetrion Cola sign was actually moved around the side, and you see it in like 2 frames. So it is still in the movie, but you can't read it. But because I know what the sign looked like from the behind-the-scenes production, I can tell you that it is still in the movie. The Sindel one I couldn't find, so I'm sure it was on the other side though, but there was no angle of it, so. Alright. Next one. This one's good. Right before Sub-Zero fights Jax in the close-up, right before he freezes the gun, Jax is sort of looking like this, and on the wall behind him you see down, forward, low punch. That is how you do the freeze in Mortal Kombat. And that's when Sub-Zero grabs the gun and Jax fires it, and he freezes the projectile and then breaks the gun. Right. Next Easter egg. Jax's arms being broken is a reference to Mortal Kombat 9. However, in Mortal Kombat 9, it's not Sub-Zero who does it, it's Ermac. And the director has already said, I know fans are going to be upset that Ermac didn't do it, but we have no Ermac in the movie, so we had Sub-Zero do it. And I think it works fine in the movie. He freezes the arms and he shatters them. And it is a reference to Mortal Kombat 9.
Ermac. Gotcha.
Stay with me, Jax.
We will break you as well.
Next one. Send in the Reptilian. Sizoth. This is the one that I missed. I thought I was suspicious about it because I wondered why Shang Tsung said send in the Reptilian Sizoth. I'm like, Sizoth? And I was racking my brain. I'm like, I don't remember that like in the Mortal Kombat lore, Sizoth. You know, and it's probably because I don't remember it being said. If I hear it, I'll sort of remember it. If I read it, it's more likely that I'll forget it. There's so much text in Mortal Kombat. I'm not always good at remembering everything that you read. But it turns out this actually said, it's in one of the MKX intros between, is it Kotal Khan or the Collector and Reptile. And he says something, he calls him Sizoth, and Reptile's like, you know my real name. So that's actually Reptile's name, Sizoth. This next one's a bit of a stretch. I'm just going to say it. You know, if you guys want to be like, that's dumb, you know, whatever, put it in the comments. But there is a chess set in Sonya's house. There's also a dartboard. But there's a chess set. And my brain's like, aha! Chess combat! So, if you want to make that connection like I did, cool. But, you know, it is a bit of a stretch, I will admit. Now, the next one, Sonya's exposition with all the wall of posters and things we got. She talks about Nightwolf. And you see that it says a Matoka warrior, which is a direct reference to his story. Now, if you happen to pause the movie and read a bit of that text, it actually says his name, Nightwolf, on the side there. It actually says Nightwolf, and it says blah, 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 blah. It says a bit of stuff about Nightwolf. Next one, we have a vase, a photo of a vase. showing a centaur shape on the vase. So Sonia has a photo of a vase that's showing like a Motaro centaur, right? Or another centaur shape. A black silhouette sort of thing. Now, if you really got a keen eye, the actual vase is in Raiden's Sky Temple. So she has a photo of the vase, Sonia. She doesn't have the vase. But the photo she has of the vase, it came from Raiden's Sky Temple, which I find interesting. Because you can see the actual vase in the background in Raiden's Sky Temple. Next one, we have a Kotal Khan bust. Obviously, an Osh-Tech warrior. This is a reference to Kotal Khan being in solid gold there. That's a bit of a straightforward one. This next one, I kind of like this one. I think it's a reference to TotalMK 99. If you look at when she points at the poster, I think it's a Mortal Kombat tournament. Oh, you spelled it wrong, whatever. If you look at the piece of paper that says Mortal Kombat, above the word combat, you can see TABM. TABM. You can't see OKK 99. But, I mean, why would it be backwards on that poster? Like, what for? Like, it makes no sense. Like, TotalMK 99 puts it backwards because of the whole Noob Saibot, Ed Boon, John Tobias thing, right? So he called himself TotalMK 99. And he did it in the same fashion as that character. So there's no reason for this movie to put TotalMK on it. So I'm just going to go out there and say that I think that is a reference to my buddy TotalMK 99. And by the way, if you're not subscribing to TotalMK 99, you need to be doing that. Right. Next. Kano's heart rip fatality. Obviously, this is an obvious one, but if you didn't know, when Kano's like, raw, rips out the heart, you fucking beauty. You know? That's his fatality from Mortal Kombat 1. That's his signature fatality. The next one, 3506. Kano says he's working on a graphic novel. Kano does have a graphic novel. He had his own comic book called Raiden and Kano. Well, I guess it was Raiden and Kano, so it could be a reference to this. Again, a little bit of a stretch, but I'll let you guys decide. Next, Kano saying, what do you say? You want to dance? Obviously, this for me, is a reference to the 1995 movie, Johnny Cage, Let's Dance.
Let's dance.
Which is like in the same sort of fashion, talking about getting down and having a fight. You know, so yeah. Reference to the 1995 movie Mortal Kombat. Next one, we have Liu Kang comes on screen, his entrance, he's walking towards the good guys. There is a big sun set behind him, and as he walks towards our good guy characters. I believe that this is a reference to the Mortal Kombat 2 bio picture for Liu Kang, which has him doing that in front of a big sunset. Next one. You guys having fun? See, only someone like me sees all this shit. Other people just watch the movie like, Liu Kang. You know, my brain is like, what's that? What's that? What's that? What's that? What's that? Alright, anyway, next one. This one is my favourite Easter egg. Because I saw it in the movie. I actually saw it in the movie. And then when I was able to get a streaming version, I watched it again. I was able to pause the fuck out of it. And it's the Kamidogu are on the post when they enter Raiden's Sky Temple. I saw the one for, I think it's the Netherrealm, the one that's sort of like a triangle. I saw that one when I was watching the movie. And I'm like, oh, Kamidogu. Like, I saw it straight away. It stuck out. And then when I was able to go back and pause it, I was able to find 5 of the 6 Kamidogu inscribed on the post. Check out this picture. The only one that's missing is the Order Realm one, which is a square. And I think just because a square is kind of boring, maybe they decided not to put it in the movie. Either that, or maybe it's on one of the other sides of the posts. and maybe that just never got filmed from that angle. But also on the post, you may also notice that you can see a logo for snakes, which is a logo for the reptile race, a logo for vampires, which is a reference to Nitara, a logo for a reference to Devora, like an insect race. That's on one of the posts. And I think was there any other ones? Yeah, so there's a few other little references there on those posts. So yeah, that was a really good Easter egg. The next one, okay, we have when we have a more exposition when they get to Raiden Sky Temple, and we see a few things. I don't know, they look like pictures in ice or something, in glass. I'm not exactly sure what the hell it's supposed to be, but we see the first one is that Great Kung Lao is winning Mortal Kombat. So that goes back all the way to the story from the original Mortal Kombat game that talks about the original Kung Lao who won Mortal Kombat many years ago, and then Goro killed him later, like the second time around. He won the first time around, won the Mortal Kombat tournament. Then when the bad guys were defeated, they found Goro, came back to Earthrealm, challenged Earth again, and Kung Lao got killed by Goro. So that's a reference to the Great Kung Lao winning the first time around in the picture. The next picture we see is a great one. It's a direct reference to Mortal Kombat Armageddon. We see Dahlia, we see Argus and Taven, and a depiction of Armageddon where everyone's flying up, all the warriors flying up into sort of like a cyclone. So that is a direct reference to Mortal Kombat Armageddon.
It is done. Taven and Dagon have been hidden. The dragons, Orin and Karo, will be at their sides.
I trust they will be safe in the caves. I only hope Shao Kahn shows no interest in Earthrealm.
It is unlikely. His attention seems focused only on Edenia. The pyramid is completed. You are certain the battle will take place here, Delia?
I am. I have sent Blaze to monitor the realms. When the time has come, he will signal the dragons and the quest will begin. Are we doing the right thing, Argus?
Your visions determined this course of action. The powerful warriors to come. The corruption of a Mortal Kombat tournament. The chain of events you foretell will lead to a conflict that will destroy us all. These combatants must be dealt with.
I am talking about Taven and Dagon. Must they be involved?
Our sons are the only ones we can trust. Furthermore, they will prove their worth before the Elder Gods. They will bring honor to Edenia.
And to you, if they survive.
We have equipped them well, and the monoliths will hone their skills. This must be done. Dagon and Taven will remain dormant. When they are revived, they will embark on a quest to save the realms from Armageddon. May the Elder Gods watch over them.
The next one we see is I don't think this is a direct character. It just looks like that it's a Shao Kahn warrior because it has the signature hair tied up like that, like a ponytail sort of thing, and the forearms ripping a guy in half. So, and then we see Shao Kahn. In the next one, obviously Shao Kahn. We see a statue of Shao Kahn later, and Shao Kahn here. And Sonya said, "This is Outworld," But yeah, Shao Kahn wasn't in the movie, but maybe coming up, hopefully. Next one, we have Bi-Han killing Hanzo, which is obviously we saw at the start of the movie, and they have it again as a historical reference in Raiden Sky Temple, so that's a bit of an obvious one. Now the next one is a great one. Kano grabs Shinnok's amulet and pockets it, because this is what was good about the Mortal Kombat movie. It may not have been perfect, but Kano is a thief, and the whole time he wanted money, and he said, "Whatever I find in the temple, I'm keeping." And that's in line with Raiden's story. Kano's story, because when he wins the original Mortal Kombat, he wants all the gold from the tournament. He wants all the gold, and he sells it all, and that's like the end of the Mortal Kombat tournament if you win with Kano. So he pockets Shinnok's amulet, which is funny because he probably has no idea what the hell that thing is. It's the you know, the key to being an elder god, and it's just sitting there, you know. It's like, yeah.
The amulet! I have Shinnok's amulet!
Whose amulet?
He is my deity, ruler of the Netherrealm, and soon destroyer of your Earthrealm.
What are you talking about?
This amulet, it is the key to Shinnok's power as an Elder God. When returned to him, he will regain his powers and be freed from the confines of the Netherrealm.
I thought Shao Kahn was the...
Shao Kahn is nothing but a peasant ruler of a long-dead realm. Shinnok is the destroyer of all realms, including Khan's outworld.
Destroyer of all realms? You are insane. That amulet isn't worth the bronze it's molded from.
Believe what you will, Sub-Zero. Goodbye, Ninja. Do you realize what you've done?
I was just earning my living.
Your clan's ignorance and greed will cost this entire realm. You'll now have to set things straight.
Quan Chi could simply be a lunatic sorcerer. I never heard of an elder god named Shinnok, or of a place called the Netherrealm.
You better start believing in both, because you're going to the Netherrealm, and you're going to bring back the amulet. We must act quickly. I have no dominion in the Netherrealm. You are reality's only hope.
I'll do it, Thunder God. Only because I don't have a choice.
Then stand back! This is a portal into the Netherrealm. Once through, follow Quan Chi, and try to get the amulet before he gets to Shinnok. I also have this advice. Beware the Brothers of the Shadow. The Netherrealm is a place for lost souls. If you fail, your soul will join theirs, as well as all the souls in this entire realm.
And if you look carefully too, Liu Kang tells him to put it back, but you never see him put it back. And later in the movie, you do see it again, like where it rests on the little stand thing. And it's a bit far away, so it's hard to see it close up. But it looks like it still was not put back. And I'm wondering if Kano's going to keep it. And it's going to be like in the next movie, like as something, like it could be that he kept it. Maybe it'll bring him back to life or something, I don't know. But it didn't look like he put it back, so... the next one is a reference to the Jinsei chamber from Mortal Kombat X and Mortal Kombat 11. So when we see Raiden talking here, you can see like cracks in the floor and like blue light sort of shining up through these cracks. That's a reference to the Jinsei chamber from Mortal Kombat X and I think 11. Where you see the same arena has those same cracks in the walls and you see that same blue shining through. And the next one, Liu Kang meditating, could be a direct reference to the 1995 movie where we see Liu Kang meditating on the beach and then he has that flashback again of your soul is mine. Obviously, the next one we have is a Liu Kang fireball. He does a direct fireball from the game, shoots it towards Sub-Zero. And then right after that, next Easter egg is Sub-Zero throwing a freeze back at Liu Kang. Then we have Kung Lao enter. He does his hat throw, which is a reference to the game, and his teleport where he comes out of the floor. Right. Then we see Liu Kang, next one, Liu Kang and Kung Lao back to back, which I believe is a reference to Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, There is renders from the artwork magazine and sort of the character. They're not really back to back on the character, they're a bit apart, but the magazine render, they're literally back to back, and I believe it is a reference to Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. The next one's an obvious one, Katana's fan. Obviously, we all saw that in the background, but it is an Easter egg. Next one we get is an audio Easter egg, and that is Kung Lao saying, "You guys are going to have to test your might."
Test your might.
The game again, test your might. And then not long after that, Kung Lao says, "Fight!" which is a reference to, obviously, any Mortal Kombat game that you've ever played. When you start, the first thing you hear is, "Fight!" Next one. Next Easter egg. Kano being tripped 3 times in a row. This is for me, a reference to a bit of a shot at people who play the game who do the same move over and over again, and they found a way to put it in the movie and not make it sort of cheesy, which I really laughed. It made me really laugh in the movie. Liu Kang trips Kano, he gets up, he goes, "I'd like to see you try that again." He does it again, and then Kano's like, "Is that the only move you know?" Which is like something that, you know, people would say when they play the game. If you were getting spammed with the same move, it's called cheese in arcade lingo. If you're getting cheesed out, you know, that'd be something that generally people would say back, "Is that the only move you know?" to try and get them to then break out of their repetitive pattern that you're having trouble dealing with. Next one. Another audio one. Liu Kang talking about Kung Lao, that he brought me to the Wuxi Academy, which is an arena in Mortal Kombat, the Wuxi Academy in Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks Deception. It's definitely in those, Deadly Alliance, definitely those 2 games. The next one, and that goes back to my parody that was at the start of this video, Kano saying, "I'm wanted in over 35 countries for shit you 2 ballerinas couldn't even dream up." That is a direct reference to Kano's bio from the original Mortal Kombat that says Kano is wanted in 35 countries. Next one we have is when Kano unlocks his Arcana. He gets his eye laser, which is obviously a reference to the game where he has the red plate, but he does have a fatality where he shoots a laser out of his eye and they blow up. So that's a reference to that. Next one, again, another audio Easter egg is from Cole Young, and he says, "I'm just an orphan from Chicago." Chicago is where they always made the Mortal Kombat games. That is the home of Mortal Kombat. Next we have Kabal saying, "He's the reason I live in an iron lung." That is a direct reference to Mortal Kombat 9, where he gets burned, Kabal gets burned by Kintaro, and then Kano actually takes him to Outworld and hooks him up with a respirator, and that's how he becomes Kabal. So that is a direct reference to what Kano did in Mortal Kombat 9. He gave him the respirator apparatus to save his life.
Spread out. Give him multiple targets.
Humans.
Easy there, mate. You've had a rough one.
Kano,
In the flesh.
I was on fire.
Burned to a crisp you were. Good thing I found you.
I'm hideous.
Shang Tsung's magic healed the rest of you. But your lungs...
Take it off.
Can't. It's permanent.
What?
No mask, no breathing.
I'm a freak.
Go on, give him a whirl.
I don't use those anymore.
Yeah, you're all proper police now. The Black Dragon ain't the same without you, mate. You should come back. We're in the money on this war.
You sold those monsters their firepower.
Guilty as charged.
This is your fault.
What are you on about, eh? You're here, ain't you?
I should be dead.
Because Cabal was in the Black Dragon, but he quits after that. Next, this one I didn't initially like. No, I finished the list and I had to come back and insert it. But when we first see Cabal, if you look carefully, he has a police badge. Now, look, I've gone through this movie every frame, and I've paused it non-stop, trying to get a perfect grab of it, and I've got some pretty clear grabs, but I just can't grab the part that says Strikers on it, because what happened was the actor who played Cabal tweeted out a photo of the badge, a close-up, and the badge says police, I think, and then Strikers. So he's actually got Strikers badge. He's wearing Strikers badge, not his badge. Striker and Cabal were friends in Mortal Kombat 9 again, and I'm thinking maybe he killed him and took his badge and was wearing it as a trophy, you know. But like I said, I went through the movie. I tried my best to make out that word Strikers. You can't in the movie. Maybe in a 4K version. I don't have that. I don't even have a 4K display to, like, you know, try and get a good screen grab on. But the actor tweeted out a photo of the badge, and you can clearly see that it says Strikers on it. So that's an interesting one. And you know, you can see a lot of the screen grabs here. Me showing off the badge. Excuse me. Where's my drink? Next, we have Shang Tsung saying, "Finish them." So he says, "Finish them," because he's sending all his assassins into Raiden's Star Temple to kill our champions before they can compete in a Mortal Kombat tournament. So he says, "Finish them." There is no finish him or her in this movie. There's only finish them, which is not in the games, but it is a reference to finish him. So, next one, we have the Cabal Dash, which is a special move from the Mortal Kombat games. The next one we have, after that one, is Kung Lao doing his Mortal Kombat 9 fatality, where he throws the hat in the ground, it spins like a buzzsaw, and then he rams Nitara right through it and cuts the bitch in half. That is a reference to Mortal Kombat 9.
Kung Lao wins. Fatality.
And then right after he does that, we get our next Easter egg where he says, "Flawless victory," which is a reference, of course, to the Mortal Kombat games. Our next one. Now this one's a bit of a stretch, and I don't know if I made this connection by coincidence or if it is a reference to this. But Goro says, "Now I'm going to tear out your spine, to Cole Young." In the Mortal Kombat games, he doesn't do that. However, there was a magazine cover that had Goro holding Johnny Cage's head with the spine hanging down. So, I think that it's a reference to that. That's a bit of a stretch, but I'm just going to roll with it because it matches up very nicely. Next, we have, on Goro's belt, you can see the Goro Shokan logo, which is featured in Mortal Kombat 9 on his belt buckle, the exact logo, the stick one of the forearm dude. Then we get an audio one when Cole is fighting Goro from Cole's daughter. She says, "Use your uppercut," and Cole uppercuts Goro and he gets stunned by it, and that is obviously a reference the Mortal Kombat games, the famous uppercut. One of the most powerful moves in the game. Alright, not many left. We're getting there. Our next one, we have Shang Tsung saying, "Your soul is mine!" And then he sucks out his soul, Mortal Kombat 2 style, Kung Lao. And then Kung Lao and Raiden and everyone just watch him do it. And then he dies. I don't know why they just watched. I mean, Liu Kang could have fireballed him. But he just stands there going, "Ah, no!" But it did look cool. It was a cool scene. I'll give it that. Yeah, so that's a reference to Mortal Kombat 2, and it's a double reference, because the fatality is a reference to Mortal Kombat 2, and the line, "Your soul is mine," is a reference to the 1995 movie from Kerry Hiroyuki Tagawa saying, "Your soul is mine." Next line we have, when Cole makes his plan about challenging everyone separately, you get like a line where they're like, you know, give me Rico. Jax is like, give me Rico, and then Sonya's like, I get the bitch with the teeth. And like they all say these things. For me, this is a reference to Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Right before the end of the movie, Jax goes, "Mr. Ed is mine," and then Cinder's like, "I'll take my mother," and then Sonya's like, "Leftovers are fine with me." That is like a direct reference in the same sort of tone, same sort of delivery as Mortal Kombat Annihilation. A bit of a nod to MK Annihilation there.
Mr. Ed is mine.
I'll take my mother.
Leftovers are fine with me.
Next one we is a visual Easter egg. We get the pit is in the movie. At the pit, you can see all the spikes. They fight. Jax fights Rico on the pit. There's several angles of the pit, but Jax doesn't hit Rico down the pit, which is like, what the fuck, man? Like, you're fighting on the pit, you hit him down the pit, unless you try and unlock Reptile. Like, that's the only reason you don't hit someone down the pit, is like, you gotta do fatality for Reptile, you know? But the pit's in the movie, but they could have shown the bottom. Like, missed opportunity, man. Could have had some nice score on those spikes. Really nice score. Next one we get Liu Kang putting on his headband. You may not have noticed this. It happens very quickly in I think it's in The Void. Maybe I've got that mixed up. Anyway, wherever it is, Liu Kang puts on his headband. That is a reference to Mortal Kombat 2 Liu Kang, who wears a red headband. Next one, we have Jax's fatality on Rico on the pit. He does a fatality on him. He does the head clap fatality, which I said is probably one of the worst ones in Mortal Kombat 2, that and the Scorpion cutthroat one. I always thought those two were pretty bad. But yeah, direct reference there to Jax's Mortal Kombat 2 fatality. Next one we have, when Sonya is baiting Kano to fight in her place, she puts up little signs to like sort of like psych him out. It's like a psychological warfare. It's like a trick. They sort of put your enemy off guard and like get them sort of, you know, make them nervous, make them sort of prone to mistake. She puts up little signs of Sonya holding Kano's head up and the spine hanging down and blood dripping. Again, a reference to Sub-Zero's fatality from Mortal Kombat 1, even though Sonya doesn't do it. It's a reference to the spine rip fatality. Next one, we get Liu Kang doing his bicycle kick move. Next one we get Liu Kang saying fatality for Kung Lao. So fatality makes it into the movie as audio. Next one we get Melina doing her teleport kick, doing one of her special moves. Next one we have Sonya's ring toss. She puts a hole through Melina. It's not a Sonya fatality. It's not a direct reference to Sonya fatality. The ring toss is her move, but the hole inside Melina and the camera looking through the hole and seeing the spinal column is a bit of a reference to like Mortal Kombat 11 fatalities, like the Scorpion or Mortal Kombat X, where you cut the face off, and then there's a hole, and you see a spine in there, or Sub-Zero like freezes it and smashes it, and you see like the spine. It's sort of a reference to that sort of thing. So it's not Sonya's direct fatality, but it is a reference to that sort of gore from those games, MKX or 11. Obviously, this one's obvious. Scorpion saying, "Get over here." We all know that one. Next one, we get Sub-Zero creating an ice sword, which is, a reference to the games. Sub-Zero does fight with an ice sword in the games, and he uses them in combos. Next one, we get Scorpion doing his MK1, 2, 3 fatality, where he takes the mask off. You see sort of a skull, and he blows fire. In this one, he doesn't take the mask off. He blows fire, and you see the skull because he's dead, sort of behind the skin, blowing fire, which is really cool. Next one, we get a poster saying it has a special fatality event. So we get a poster that actually has the word fatality on it. It literally says special fatality event on the poster. Like, what sort of fucking gym is this, dude? Last but not least, we have the poster, the Citizen Cage poster where the movie ends. What you may not have noticed is there is a poster on top of the big Johnny Cage one that you might not notice, but it looks like it says Dragon Fist on it, because I think you see IST on it, and it's with the Johnny Cage one, so it's probably a reference to Dragon Fist, which is what mentioned in the Mortal Kombat 1 bio for Johnny Cage. He made movies such as Dragon Fist and Dragon Fist 2. So, yeah, it's a reference to that, and then we also had the Citizen Cage poster behind it.
Hey, beautiful. Johnny Cage.
Good for you.
What? Massive Strike? Citizen Cage? Ninja Mime? None of those ring a bell?
Kano.
Kano? Wasn't in that one.
And the last one, and I missed this one out, well pointed it out for me, is when it's panning over to show those two posters, it pans from a lower angle and then goes up, and there's another poster, and then it goes out of frame very quickly. It's very easy to miss this one, but it says Tanya on it. And for those of you who don't know, Ed Boon's sister is named Tanya, and that's why Mortal Kombat 4 has a character called Tanya, and that's why Mortal Kombat 1 has a character named Sonya, because he has another sister called Sonya. Sonya and Tanya, two characters named after Ed Boon's siblings. So yeah, that's it. There's all the Mortal Kombat Easter eggs I've found. I'm sure there's more. Just got a feeling. There's a part where Cole's going into Sonya's like Special Forces compound. There's so many like containers and crates and boats on there, and I paused them. I saw like a boat named Bambino, but like I can't really find a way to reference that to Mortal Kombat directly. There were other ones that had like just letters and numbers. Again, couldn't sort of make the connection, but someone like TabMock99, who I'm sure will do a video like my one, I'm sure will probably talk about this, because Tabmock is like me. He loves the Easter eggs and he loves hidden references, and we love to uncover that stuff and really find some of the roots of Mortal Kombat. So thanks for watching. I did like the Mortal Kombat movie. It wasn't perfect. I know I gave it an 8 in my review. I probably should have given it a 7, really. But it's an enjoyable movie. You sit there, you watch it, there's fights. It's enjoyable, it's funny, there's comedy. It's not a perfect movie. Why does Outworld look weird at the start, where it's just an open desert, and then later in the movie it's all dark and on fire when they're fighting Cabal and Rico in the pit? Like, the tone changes for no reason. Like, there's a lot of problems with the movie, but I still enjoyed it. That doesn't mean I hate the movie. There's no reason to just hate the movie for one thing, unless it's a really big thing, So yeah, I did enjoy the movie, and I hope they do more, because it's just fun. For me, Mortal Kombat movies shouldn't be exactly like the video game. They can be a little different. They can play in the sandpit. Do you know what I mean? They don't have to be the same. If I want the same thing, I'll just play the game. Do you know what I mean? If you're one of those people that's like, it's not like the game, just play the fucking game. Do you know what I mean? I'm okay with them adapting some things to the screen. Although I do think the characters should look like the characters from the game. I do think that's a bit of a fail. When Melina's is wearing all black for no reason, there's no mask, there's like these weird chocolate smudges on her cheeks. It doesn't look like Melina. She's supposed to wear a mask to hide that ugly face. She's supposed to wear purple. Those are her signature things, and they didn't do that in the movie. It bugs me a little bit, But yeah, but it was fun talking about the Easter eggs of Mortal Kombat. How many was that? 64? I'm kind of proud. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I know a lot of them are obvious, like special moves and stuff, but a lot weren't. How many of you noticed the Komidogu? How many of you noticed the Komidogu? Huh? Bet you didn't notice it. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time for another TMK video. Peace out.